Okay, I saw somebody's comments, and it's kind of a perfect time because I went and just saw the documentary, right? Last night, actually. You guys can go to Amazon. There's like a link for a trial and watch it. And then if you want to keep the thing, it was like $4.99 after that or something like that. But anyway, I got to see it. But if you don't want to do that, basically most of that information about the documentary went into the media, so there wasn't anything particularly new about it, other than the they made a point to talk about the football thing, which was good to me because I was like, yeah, thank you, because there's a thing about the football thing, and fathers were telling their sons, like, if you don't play football, are you gay, like that thing, right? So I said, yeah, there was a correlation to that with these male supremacist fathers. And those fathers typically are like the rapist. And so I don't know, they might want to question their dad going on like that. That's a weird thing because my dad didn't do that to my knowledge. So they didn't go on like that. But that was a general thing in the population. And I noticed all these guys who are problematic really love that football. Yeah, so there's a thing with that, right? So, no, it was just brought up in there. So then the secondary part is how they were, taken into these areas. So basically, it was not different than any like women's story, other than this one was kind of weird. So they took them to some location in, is it the Hamptons? I think it was like the Hamptons, into this big property, and then they had all these people set up the property and they had to leave. And I don't know, there's people acting like they didn't know stuff, but I mean, it's possible that they didn't. And they were being really extra careful just because they're gay. That could be, I mean, there could be a level of, we got to make sure these people are not here when this happens and it's just secretive. We're going to have this big old, fest up in here. So anyway, they had people go in there, and then they brought these younger model guys over there, and I just think it's so weird. So he tells them to strip down to their underwear and sit and wait for him, you know? And then they did it, right? And then he comes in, and then he leads them into a room. And they said there was people having sex in that room already, and everybody's watching. It's like a big orgy room. And I was like, what the hell? No, see, I mean, is there even a way to get out of it though? Because like the property was like in the middle of nowhere, or at least from what I was understanding of the documentary. I was like, how scary is that? Yeah, that one's a new one because I don't know of any stories of women walking into a big orgy. Like, I don't know, other than maybe the Jeffrey Epstein stuff that was going on over there. But yeah. So anyway, they forced them into this thing, and then Mike was in it, and then they had these people watching that thought was security. I'm like, what the hell? No, no, that would have been a no go for me. But yeah, no, I mean, they got pushed into it. They were trying to explain it. They explained it in a good way because I was like, yeah, that's about how you feel. Like they bring you over to their house, right? I had the house thing. And then they just start doing stuff and you're just like, but actually I fought my perpetrator in that. I got assaulted, but then I fought them. So at first it was like, what I know what they're talking about because I was like, yeah, you're just like, but I had just got raped like 2 weeks prior, right? So I was really weirded out, just generally from anybody touching me now, just out of that thing. And it was like everyone from then on was a total rapist and they were a pedophile. So all these men are pedophiles, by the way. But they're general rapists, so they'll rape anything. And they're businessmen, okay? So one of the stem offs of this story that they did, it's for some reason, this particular story, when it came out, it's not getting as much media attention as the Russell one. But they're all correlated with each other because they're all the same people. They're all the same business people. They're all the pro rapists. They're all the pedophiles. They're all the same assholes, okay? Hollywood is a fucking liar because when I got outed in over 20 some odd years ago, nobody was talking. I'm sorry. I don't know who the fuck these people think they are. They were not talking. Because if they were, I would have buddied up with them. I would have said, yeah, we had a lot of these things, happen. And no, there was none of that. So don't play a story that was never there. Okay. And nobody was against raping kids at that time. So I was saying that they were actually promoting it to me, didn't care about me as a human, and saying that these men have the right to do that to me. That was the argument. That was the main meat of those arguments. Versus calling me a liar. It was stupid you couldn't call me a liar then because nobody was denying that we had this thing here. So this stuff starts later because they want to spin stories and idiots come in out of nowhere that didn't follow along since the get-go. They did not deny that this should happen. That never happened. There was no denial in the response from their team either, but they started spinning it out and created a conspiracy. That's how I can read their shit very well today because I know the truth. And so if somebody writes something like that, which is totally insane, I was like, is the guy mentally ill? Like, I was like thinking that. I'm like, I don't know what universe that is in because, yeah, it was like that. But it was a purposeful spin-off, right? But there was no denial in it. That was the thing about it. And I was like, oh, wow, he didn't deny it. But the lady that outed me is the one that looked at it and said, he said he didn't do it. I'm like, well, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that at all. It actually has him saying that he did something. And then he's trying to make excuses for doing it. I'm like, being a rapist, you don't need, first of all, you could try to do that age bullshit all you want. They always have done that, you guys. I didn't know. So, okay, I go even hypothetically, which is a lie, because they did know I was a kid, because I was 16 when I wrote that thing to them. They go, I didn't know. So that's his excuse for being a rapist. I go, it shouldn't even matter if I was 99 years old, dude. What you did was wrong, right? So he admitted, he actually had a full admittance that he did something to me on our first business meeting. And everybody, and I mean every sicko, pedo, fucking motherfucker under the sun, including their friends, defended this. So, what that tells me is that everybody is a fucking pedophile. And also they are, because here's Peter Thiel. So me and Peter Thiel, well, it's a one-way fight, I guess, because I was like, so around 2000 and I don't know, it was like 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there. I don't know who's actually to blame for this because I found out that he was also part of the Facebook thing. So they decided that they wanted to out my name and say that I'm not who I am. And they wouldn't let me put my band on there because all I did was put my band on there because we were doing shows and I was trying to, well, my band. I mean, like any other person, right? They decided to fuck with me over there and take my money that I just gave them and do that. So he's a big one that's like, I care about my privacy. How dare Gawker out me that I'm gay? I'm like, how dare you guys to put my name out there when I have a fucking stalker and some other people that are trying to kill me, which I did and have proof of that. And so they didn't care about my privacy. It's malicious. They're malicious attacks, right? But I never met these people. So I was like, I don't understand why these people are at me, right? But during the 2001 portion, the bigwigs that own the internet started targeting me because of this person that I dealt with. And it was important to know because I was like, I don't know all their friends. How are they sitting there removing my information? They have no right to do it. They didn't. And so they wouldn't let me even respond to their comments that they made to me in this sort of public response because that lady is not anybody. So I don't know why you would send it off to them. That lady was pure evil doing that to me to begin with. That would be like these guys from the movie, right? The Mike Jeffries people, and they go tell me that he raped everybody. And I go, let me get down to it, okay? I'll get back to you. And then go call them and then tell them I called them. Like, you just wouldn't do it. Like, how dumb is that? I was still dealing with the camp, okay? That put me in major danger. The guy had a gun. So I had this whole problem with Peter Thiel. So okay, so then they want to do the PayPal mafia, son of a bitches, the pro-rapist assholes over here, the frat boys from hell, Generation X, they're all rapists. Want to sit there and sex shame women. Well, I'm not having sex parties at my house and running a human trafficking ring, raping everybody. Hello. Because this is the truth of the matter with all those guys. I told you guys, they are the human traffickers. That was no lie. I told this for years and years and years. I go, I'm an actual victim, so why would these guys be fighting against a victim, right? Pretty obvious. So yes, and it appears to be so because all these people have shit going on over there, right? They all got busted, a lot of them, right? And I see that no matter what they do, they could rape me and get away with it, which they did, right? Mostly in the 2005 portion, which is way beyond me being a kid. And they had knowledge of it and they hid it down. FBI's a fucking rapist. The government is a rapist. They are male supremacists. So all this stuff was in place, regardless if it's from here or to the UK. The male supremacists have put a protection on them in place before any of us were even born, okay? And that includes entities like, you know, like lawyers, like whoever they have to deal with that, the cops and everybody else, right? The laws were created by them to protect them. So our job now as adults in this trashy ass piece of shit fucking world is to try to change those laws because they wanted to protect themselves. So let's listen to Peter Thiel because he tried to pretend that he's sorry for this, but he actually promoted rape. But this is actually his mindset because he's a goddamn sociopath bully. So he'll say anything to whatever to make him seem like a good guy. He's not. And he also had a boyfriend that committed suicide not too long ago. So I have a lot of questions about the conduct there because we're seeing what's going on. And these guys have been abusing their power. And so if you view men, mostly other gay males, like just any other female with a rich, powerful pig, where they abuse their power on them, and the gay community, I'm like, the gay community, like the Elton Johns and all them, have been covering up for their own conduct, their monstrous predator conduct on other people. They were always pro-rape. That's why I said all men. Now, the reason why I'm bringing it up, though, because somebody made a comment and they didn't get it. Like, they didn't get it. I go, the men are the rapists. And they're like, no, a woman raped somebody. And I go, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. So I'm here to explain this about for the millionth time over. Do you understand the cycle of abuse? Please tell me that you understand the cycle of abuse. If I punch you as a kid, you're probably going to end up punching somebody else, right? So when men rape you as a kid, you're probably going to go end up raping somebody else. Mostly as a little kid, yeah. And you think it's normal? Yeah, you're going to go rape somebody else. Unless you see something wrong with it. But that's not what's happening. They're actually totally promoting it, and the dad's saying that's all good, and now you're a man. So they become mega rapists, and then they start abusing girls. So the whole time, we didn't have any agency. We still don't. Where do I have my agency? I don't have none. What are you talking about? So they raped me as a kid, right? So then they're like, you know, that's what we're supposed to do. You know, it's like, this is the shit, right? So you do that kind of shit, and if somebody normalized it, they're going to go and rape some other people, right? That would include other females doing it. But also the addition of that, males promoted women to rape little boys. So you didn't get it, dude. You didn't get it. It's the men. It is the men. It is the white man. The white man. Yes, because that's from here to the UK and all the places I'm pulling up, right? That's the foundation of the country there. So they created all the laws, right? So you look at that. Because that's what the society is shaped around. White men. So the white man, the church, because that's what their religion was, right? So what are they pulling from? They're pulling from the Bible for their moral fucking bullshit, right? So the Bible's all about pro-raping kids. No matter how they want to switch it around and fucking fuck it up the ass, it's for pro-raping children. Because all the women in the Bible were also children, so they were raping those kids. So they continually want to change it around and say this was mixed up and rewritten and this and that. First of all, it's written by stupid ass men. Okay, so could we just say that? Because it's not written by any god. That's unreal. And it's funny that some science guy would even, any of those guys would be like, oh yeah, it's totally from some fucking magical being from the sky. No, it's a male supremacy. But also what it is sociopathy. So it's a personality disorder. And so they wrote their God complex from their narcissistic personality disorder in that book. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, so they were promoting being a sociopath. And so, because that's who wrote it, basically. Somebody that had a serious PD at the time. All those guys. Yeah, you're seeing them. They're terrorists, right? So it's like a bunch of terrorists writing this fucking goddamn book. So yeah, so they had women as property, and I love all these people going, oh, the women had agency. That's hilarious. Yeah, to make you try to spoon that shit in. But the whole time they were pro-rape. You could not get anybody for rape on that shit. And if you did, it wouldn't have been proper. Like, there's just, no, they were pro-rape. They're pro-pedophilia. That's why the church is raping kids, just generally, because they're pedophiles. They're open pedophiles. So I don't know, what is the conflict here? I think the conflict is just people discovering it when they get born because nobody told you. And then it's like, oh, they're pedophiles. And then they're just like, yeah, big shock. Because, yes, we are. It's kind of like that. But because of that, they don't view people as human. So because of that, then they had slaves, right? Okay, so he said all that. So, anyways, regardless of which power-hungry piece of shit monster that you were a victim to up in here, they're well protected. So I hit up the lawyers, and they're heavily protected because guess whose school? Okay, yeah, Harvard. Okay, yeah. Okay, when you start going back there, they were all men, right? Originally, mostly. They were white, rich men, right? Mostly. So they start creating all this shit fuck laws like, we're a bunch of rapists. We got to make sure that, we could rape and we're not going to get busted, okay? Just only on these few cases, like maybe we can go after somebody for rape. But then they don't even get busted. They'll just like arrest like a bunch of people. It's just, they're clusterfucks, okay? And trust, they don't make sense. Because even when you try to like lay it out for you guys, you could sit there and pull out something else, and it's like, yeah, it contradicts, right? Yeah, they're dicks, okay? So they contradict. So, Peter Thiel, who gave $1 million and something to Trump, had called date rape belated, belated regret. So basically what he's doing is he's talking about himself. He's basically telling you how he views his conduct onto others, okay? This isn't just an opinion. This is a promotion. He's a sociopath, so he's telling you who he is. And the only reason why he backtracked is because he got called out, because he could see that he's a goddamn rapist, and it's not something that's acceptable today, is it? It wasn't acceptable then. But because of these rich white men, he's 56, so he's the old farts of Generation X that totally abused us. They were the rapists on us when we were children. I don't like to consider myself Generation X because I feel closer to the millennials, because these guys right here are garbage filth. I mean, almost all of them have raped somebody, done things against their will, were so shitty growing up with. They're still shitty today. And it's the proof and the point that it's the evidence that the sociopath doesn't change, okay? He will pretend that he has, but he hasn't. And it's his Facebook board member. Yeah, see, Facebook. Those are the assholes that target us. And also targeted transgenders. He's supposed to be a gay man. Do you think he cares about anybody? No, he doesn't. Who donated to Donald Trump after sexual misconduct allegations, wrote a 1995 book that attempted to discredit date rape. Okay, so just because you're a pro rapist doesn't mean that that we're all liars. You guys have been pro rapist the whole time. So here's the proof, and you promoted it. So where are you coming up with this shit calling us liars? Sit on my middle finger, fucking Peter Thiel. Yeah, I told you I got into a big old thing because they targeted all the women and stole their money and didn't let them become entrepreneurs, and we had to be under their rules. So they own the entire fucking internet, guys. Even the site I'm on right now. And so they have the power to mute me, and that's who's been going at me the whole time. Has it not been obvious? The actual human trafficking pro rapist son of a bitch, white motherfuckers, these guys. And I'm just sitting there going, I never met these guys, but they must be friends with our perpetrators. But I'm also targeting something much bigger, right? We're targeting them raping everybody. We're targeting their criminal conduct. We're targeting that part of the ring. So it's like the orbit, right? So I started hitting into the orbit. And no, I had no idea it was like this. Not at the beginning. I started learning. See, some of these people are new just coming out. Honey, I've been on this for decades. And these guys are the same son of a bitches. There's nothing different. And I said, Donald Trump's girlfriend was one of my witnesses because she was with one of the guys that was at one of the shows. And she wants to play pretend that, you know, some bullshit. But no, there was a lot of people. So I was in this universe, right? And they don't want to admit it. They're not denying it. They're just not, you know. And there was a lot of businessmen. So I was talking about the businessmen, the golf course thing. So it was important to understand the golf course thing because I was like, yeah, those guys are fucking predators. Like, something's going on here. So what they would do is, you know, Donald and the guys that I was dealing with would go play golf, right, with each other, and they did business on the court, right? So when they're out there on in the field there, you know, with all the actors, the comedians, yeah, it was such a small circle. I was trying to throw that out there, but I don't know if anybody caught all that. I think everybody takes it all a different way, and I was like, you know, why do I share this shit? Anyway, all of them play together golf, right? So they're business pals, they're friends, they're just general friends. And the government's over here trying to play this game that everybody's a victim to Jeffrey Epstein. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. They all have their own little human trafficking rings because that was their desire for power and control when they were growing up, to have their own universe and stable of fucking humans. So they're just pals, okay? So they each have their own thing going on. So their conduct is their conduct on their own. And they raped everybody, okay? The victims of them, the ones that went after them and stuff. But I'm saying the rich men are not the victims of them. But they were trying to pretend this like weird blackmail thing. That's garbage. Blackmail to who? Can you tell me to who? Because they're all fucking pedo rapists. So if they outed it, to who? Government protects it. So it doesn't make any sense, right? No. They run their own fucking stable. And they're just friends and they do business together. And so that's how they're associates and stuff, right? So they just protect their own house. Because if the victims start coming at them, right? Any one of them, they protect each other heavily. So like I said, I never met Mark Zuckerberg or Peter Thiel or any of the PayPal assholes. None of them. And if I have, then it would be in a situation where they would be outed for something bad that they did, not the opposite. So, yeah, that was the question. So, yeah, they were erasing stuff offline. So the original people that were doing that was like, I don't know, I think it was like GeoCities. I pointed that out. I was like, there was a number of web site owners of the companies that were doing that. And I go, no. And if you guys think it was me answering what they said, I go, that's impossible because I have the passes right here. So if you're claiming that, then why would you give me passes all the way up until this point? It was a thing like that, right? And then they removed the whole site. I was like, aha, you assholes. Like, how can you remove a site like that? Yeah, so they were like, because I was winning. I was winning because what they said was what they said was false. It was just false, and they made up a lie, and they just weren't thinking, I guess, when they made it up. And I was like, that I don't have the power and control. It'd be different if I was the one that was giving that to you. It doesn't make any sense. You can't claim some shit like that. Yeah, so then all the rapist men out here, I mean, should I be upset about this? They're rapists, so now they're being bullies to me. And I have nothing to do with that shit. I was like, oh, did you do this to me? How many people did you do this to? Like, if you're scared of me, then you did something. And sure enough, all these people did. All these people did. Because now that's the flag. I'm like, if you're treating me like shit, I'm going to go look into you. Because the only thing that I'm upset about is a bunch of pedo rapists and people that cover it up. And so anybody that's treating me bad, you need to look at them. And I did. And it's bad. It's really bad. And I'm looking at Peter right now. What did Peter say? But parts of Thiel's 1990 book, The Diversity Myth, Multiculturalism, and Political Intolerance on Campus, suggests that he may sympathize with Trump, who has recently been accused of sexual assault and misconduct by several women, than with his victims. Okay, so this is actually more telling about Peter as a rapist, okay? I just want people to understand that. It's not just a defender. It's not just a sympathizer. This is a person who has done conduct that they need to protect and say it's okay because it's what they do. So that's the actual psychology of this. So that's a little scary. I don't know who he touched. Okay, so the PayPal co-founder attempted to discredit the idea of date rape. And I pointed out that fucking one actor dude from Saved by the Bell had a bunch of date rape accusations, and he got away with it here. Because here's the Peters defending date rape and to rape us. No, he's defending it and promoting it. It's not sympathizing. He's promoting it. He wrote that the definition of rape, I'm glad that he's a white man. He's going to give us the definition. The white man, the PayPal mafia motherfucker, is going to give me the definition because he has that much of an ego. He's a narcissist, right? He's a sociopath, but you should be able to see the narcissism in this. He's going to tell me what is rape on my body. Okay. Had been erroneously expanded to include seductions that are later regretted. Well, you know what they didn't add was that massive mouth kissing, which is actually a sexual assault. So, that's you, dude. How many times have you done that? The only people that want to defend that is because they did it to everybody. Yeah, that's it. Period, guys. He also suggested that the movement to combat it on college campuses was motivated by animosity towards men. As we should be, because you're rapists, right? You're pedo rapists. We don't like you. So saying that, yeah, no, we don't like you. Because you're a fucking bully, you're a sociopath, and you're a motherfucking rapist. And you're promoting to rape children here, too, as well. No, I don't like abusers. So you're correct. I was like, I don't care. Fuck you. News of Thiel's sizable donations set off a round of criticism. So yeah, he was promoting rape. They all keep hanging out with rapists. I can tell you right now, I have no human trafficking friends. I never have. Other than the people that were harming me. That where I'm a victim in, right? In those things, yeah. With many members of tech industry calling for Thiel's removal from positions of influence, though Thiel has supported Trump's candidacy, I don't care, you know what I mean? Like the Trump thing and all that, like regardless of the political stance here, it's his stance about how he views other humans, because it's generally other humans, because he's gay. So what he's saying is that for both things here. So he's saying his general view on his conduct on other humans is okay. So he's saying, I'm a rapist. So regardless if you're male or female, this is the conduct I'm going to do to you and have done to you. And I don't see a problem with my actions. That's his argument. Okay. So then it goes, Thiel's plan to address the controversy in a speech later this month, according to New York Times. In the book co-authored with Thiel's fellow Stanford and PayPal alumni David O. Sachs. Okay, so they're both rapists. The pair discuss a 1991 case in which a 17-year-old Stanford freshman, now mind you, I was raped to shit here in 91 and 92. And I was a minor, and they're going to promote the rape of me right here. Fucking male supremacist boys right here, men, they were men at the time because they were much older than me, were promoting to rape us in this thing here in 1995. You were promoting it the whole time, but it's also telling you their conduct, their personal conduct. I cannot stress to you, this is their personal conduct. It's not about Trump. It's not even about the case itself. They're telling you who they are. And you need to take that at its word. They're rapists. That's what that meant. And it, not the political thing, none of that. So what does he say? Although the alleged perpetrator was clearly guilty of serving alcohol to an underage woman. No, it's an underage kid. It's still a kid, even if you went to college. I was 15 in college, guys. Are you going to call me a woman? Because I'm 15 in college. This was another mindset, by the way, I want to point out, that because I was out of school so early, they all treated me like you're old enough. Even though our laws here are 18 and over, right? Even if the AOC at that Stanford thing there is 17, it's still a minor, okay? So they're the pedophiles. He's the one looking at this right now and going, it's totally fine if we rape some 17-year-old. Just want to point it out because he's telling you what he goes for, okay? Then he goes, okay, yeah, so they gave alcohol to a kid. And taking advantage of her results lack of judgment. There was no sexual assault. Oh, they're rapists. And you know what? All rapists are sociopaths. They all have ASPD because nobody would okay this kind of conduct because they have no consent, right? So they were totally pro knocking us out here. And it's more admitting how they were giving alcohol to women to knock them out so they can rape them. And Peter's like, no, this is totally fine, guys. This is my personal view because this is what I do. How is it rape? I fucking do this all the time. You would not defend something that you don't do. Understandably, however, the woman regretted the whole incident after. She raped herself. Okay. He's a hypocrite. He's a bully. And he's also a pedo rapist. This is your argument. So this means that this is how your core beliefs and how you view other people as objects. And you see no wrong in knocking them out and fucking raping them. And mostly a kid. You're disgusting. Come back now and say you're sorry for this? Fuck you. This got us all raped out here because you promoted it. And you did it. You for sure did that shit. Thiel and Sachs also took issue with Stanford's policy on sexual assault, which said sexual assault by force or coercion, including deliberate coercion through use of drugs or alcohol, is absolutely unacceptable at Stanford University. Okay. Here's Peter Thiel and his rapist fucking pedo buddy. It is ludicrous to believe that anyone who had been forcefully violated would not know it and bear physical marks. He's a fucking piece of work, isn't he? Do you guys see why we're like oil and water? I mean, this shit right here. It's like I didn't even need to read this to know this about him, right? Because I'm so good at reading a lot of these people. Some of them have got past me. I've said some of them have got past me, and it has more to do with that I was, growing up into them, right? Versus some guy just flat out in my face is a piece of shit, right? Yeah. So, I was like, and you're an adult here writing this, right? Yeah. You're an adult here writing this. So this isn't even a thing like, I was a kid and I wasn't mature enough yet to understand anything like that. I actually wrote a book and like totally put this out into the world to fucking go rape all the kids and children and get them drunk and knock them out. How many times did you knock somebody out, Thal? Because it says right there, through use of drugs or alcohol. And as we see, the date rape drug is very big. So how many guys did you give that date rape drug to? Because you're defending it here. Your core self, a fucking goddamn rapist sociopath. That's what I'm saying. I go, you need to read people much better today, ladies. Because that's what that means. It's not just some, bad opinion about something. Because when I have an opinion about something, it's because it's something that affected me. And this is my worldview about it. And it may not be a good view about it. Because maybe, like, if I'm saying, oh, we should legalize, something, and then it harms another group of people, then they need to tell me so we have the discussion to make sure that nobody gets harmed because of my, that opinion for that, right? But it isn't purposeful to try to harm somebody else. Unlike this here, it's saying that he's a rapist and this is what he does. And he's like, that's absurd that any of my victims didn't know what they were doing. This thing. Yeah, so he's totally fine if I gave him a pill and then it's totally fine. Yeah, like I could rape him and he would be totally fine with it. Yeah, that's what he's saying. They tell you there's a good quote. Who said that? It was, Maya Angelou. Okay. When people show you who they are, believe them. Well, they showed me they're a fucking rapist, right? Yes, Peter Thiel's a rapist. And Sackis. They added. Okay, we're not even done. They're going to go in for the kill. Okay, so, but since a multicultural rape charge may indicate nothing more than belated regret, a woman, now they're talking about women here, okay? But I want to point out that, as we've seen actually in this entire picture of things, as Peter Thiel hates women with a passion because he's a disgusting pig, but he also treats men like objects, okay? So how he views us is going to be the exact same as how he views other men that he's with. Okay? And at this time, he probably wasn't out of the closet. So he's talking in this manner. So it's just basically saying any object that I'm with, basically in his brain there, this is how he feels, okay? So think of it that he's saying this to another man, right? Any man might realize that he had been raped the next day or even many days later. Under these circumstances, it is unclear who should be responsible. He doesn't know how to take accountability, right? What a sociopath, right? He's like, I'm the rapist, but yeah, shouldn't we blame the victim that I fucking raped, Yeah. If the alcohol made both of them do it, no, there's only one rapist and one victim. Well, you're saying that they both raped each other? That's not how that goes. Otherwise, you get into this thing of then it just becomes consent because they're both going at it. But that's not proper. So one person is initiating the situation. Somebody gave the alcohol to them. Somebody is having the MO to have sex with somebody here, right? So, yes, in this type of case, sure, a female could turn around and take advantage of a drunk guy. Sure. A male could take advantage of a drunk woman in that situation. Yes, it's typically a man doing it, but here it could be two men and the one male, such as Peter Thiel, giving it to one of his victims, and he starts making the moves on him, which is probably his typical MO, right? And so he's looking at this going, this is absurd. They wanted to be with me. Yeah, that thing. So he's protecting himself. That's basically it. Then why should the woman's consent be above any, more than the man's? Yeah, this is what he's doing. Why is all blame placed on the man? This has to be the low IQ argument of anything because we don't even know, like, there's no actual case to like go off of like what the fuck you're talking about. Why is all the blame placed on the man? Okay, well, the reason why the blame is placed on men is because you're the one that's a man, right? And you're promoting rape. And historically and throughout, it has been men promoting rape. So it is the man more than likely raping everybody. Now, is it not true that the men were raping each other? Yes. Were women? Fuck no. There's not stories of us jamming broomsticks up our butts, okay? So that was not an okay thing to do growing up. It doesn't mean no one's ever not done that, but in general, that conduct is promoted by rapist men. So you're inherently a rapist. You're inherently a rapist because of your doctrine of bullshit. Because you're a male supremacist. So they're automatically rapists. People are not understanding it, and I'm pointing it out. And so in more cases than not, the man is the one plotting to rape everyone, male or female. But it is dependent on the case that is in front of us. So what case are we looking at? It's I don't know what to call this. It's just a random comment with nothing to back it, and just, why is it always placed on me? Because you're the rapist, though. Are you the one getting accused all the time? Probably. So you're just kind of fucking fuming out here. The real victims of the movement to end sexual assault, the author suggests, are the men. The real victims? Aha! He's such a sociopath. They always make themselves the victim. Okay, so the rapist man here is the victim. And this actually should really show you his real character, right? Because this is his true character and how he feels about himself. He's the victim, okay? He's promoting being a rapist, and now he's the victim, okay? And LAPD did this too. He's like, the men are the victims. Okay, so these are sociopaths, just through and through, okay? And it's not just a random thrown out there that they have ASPD. No, they do. So this is that. So he's flipping the argument to make him a victim. Oh my God. It's so, I feel sorry for any guy that's ever with this person. You got raped. I hope you guys come out. I hope you don't have any NDAs. I would fucking break it. The real victims of the movement to end sexual assault suggest are the men. The purpose of the rape crisis movement seems as much about vilifying men as about raising awareness. We have to vilify the men because you're the one that promoted raping everybody. So yes, you are the guilty party. You just don't want to be held accountable for your promotion of rape. And did you not just promote rape this whole time in this whole book right here? Yes, you did. So if you didn't do that, then you wouldn't have came out later and tried to say, oh, I'm sorry, I regret it. Oh, you got some regret sex, dude? Uh-huh. Yeah, fuck you. So this is what you did, and this is how your mind works, and your fucking scrambled egg brain of being a goddamn sociopath. So that's that. Let's see what else he says. Like, do we want to know? Because he's like one of those guys that is just like, you know? Okay. The book, published in 1996, is a lengthy critique of campus culture at Stanford University, which both authors attended. Yeah, it's a rape festival there. The pair lambasted various institutional changes, including themed houses and support centers for racial minorities, courses in African American history and ethnic, gender, and sexuality studies. Well, you know, he could have actually wrote a whole book on how he's gay, you know, and focused on himself and how fucked in the head he is. But anyway, the expansion of benefits to same-sex couples, sex education for undergraduates, and other reforms, they argue, compromise an anti-Western multiculturalism. On diversity, the pair, I'm scared. I was like, wait, on diversity, the pair of sociopath rapist loons. Real diversity requires a diversity of ideas. You know, of us being pedo rapists. You need to allow us in your space. Okay, so against your will. Not simply a bunch of like-minded activists who resemble the bar scene from Star Wars. Okay, so he's equating... Okay, Are we gonna hang out with some murderers today? We have to be diverse, okay? We need to have Ted Bundy at the table on this side. I need to have, fucking the Jeffrey Epstein over here, who's all your pals, right? And then I need to be okay with them raping me, yeah, and killing me at the same time, yeah. We need to be open to that. No. We're talking about criminality, but you didn't take the psychopathy course, did you? I was like, wait, I don't know, because it's not even in that thing. Among the author's complaints and the deterioration of it says deteriorate, of the freshman curriculum to include Nobel Peace Prize winner Rigoberta Menchu's biography, Rigoberta and Zora, the novel, their eyes were their eyes were watching God. Okay, so they took particular aim at new academic fields such as a class study, the social movement of the 1960s, or one on representations of gay and lesbian sexuality. Okay, he's gay. This is gonna be good. Wait, let me see. Like, passionate hatred of men. The utopian demands for an elimination of all gender differences. The total inconsistent demands for a uniquely female perspective and belief in widespread gender discrimination are the core of the new gender study curriculum. I don't know. Thiel and Sachs are also argue that racism is largely imaginary. Oh, shit. Because they're, okay, through and through, they're white male supremacists, okay? So you can see that right here. So they're going to, now that, I mean, they probably say that the fucking genocide never happened either. Okay, so the results of overreacting to unintentional slights and that people of color's instances on talking about racism is the cause of any remaining racial tension in Western society. The problem that I had, I'll tell you this, the only problem that I had was there was a parent that taught her kid to be violent to anybody at no reason, and the kid was so little, it was not right. That was a different thing. So I was kind of going off of something like that. But no, outside of that, he literally is saying it's imaginary. Ignorance is not bliss. And I'm glad I didn't write this thing. As paradoxical as it may seem, the extreme, I learned my lesson. It's like, I should not talk about things that don't affect me, other than like when I'm talking about this problem here, white male supremacy. It's because of the male supremacist part, it is automatically they hate women, okay? The second, so they flipped it, right? He's like, why is it always the man? Oh, I don't know, male supremacy, because y'all fucking are narcissistic fucking pedo rapists that think that you are you think that you were thrown here from God to rule the entire universe, and we're here as a gift to your dick. So yes, it would be you. So yeah, you need to take the blame. They say it like, oh, that's a bad thing, and I'm like, no, we do hate you. So I was like, yeah, through and through. And we have every right to, because you are our abusers. So no, if you want to sit there and force the Jews to love Hitler, eat shit. That's what you're doing. And yes, it is the same equation, because the amount of bloodshed and extermination of our gender just from this is insane. And why have they not looked at it as extermination? How many sex workers died because of these male supremacists that murdered and slaughtered them through the decades and centuries, right? That's been an okay extermination by male supremacists, right? And you read it every day about how they keep raping everybody. That's you. You're a male supremacist. You're a white male supremacist. So he's arguing, I am the victim. How the fuck are you the victim? You know what I mean? You have to really ask this, but this is his brain on fucking socio. And it's like, you're not the fucking victim. And I would never place myself as a victim to people of color. Are you crazy? But he's going everywhere. Okay, multiculturalist charged white. charge whites with more. Well, it's really white men because women don't have power. They're brainwashed fucking bobbleheads for your ass. Because we don't actually create the teachings on children. It was men that wrote that garbage, and then it's brainwashed into little girls, and so then they just repeat it. They follow the leader. So it's not women doing it, it's men. So yes, it is all you. So if you feel the hate, then you're feeling the right thing. Okay, so then he did not address his writing. Okay, so then it says what does it say? Okay, Thal expressed some regrets about the book. Some regrets. Okay, here he goes. Thal expressed some regrets. He's still a rapist, you guys. This does not change. Like, it doesn't change. Sorry, it doesn't. About the book in 2011 in the New Yorker profile. And this is when they were targeting the shit out of me. Oh, fuck no. He is a vile piece of shit, son of a bitch that goes after women's incomes. He wants to control the fucking planet. All this fucking little mafia of son of a bitch, white son of a bitches right here, these guys. And they were protecting the human trafficking house. You don't think that they were not knowingly protecting that house? They were. It wasn't out of ignorance. This is his viewpoint. This is the mindset of a white male supremacist, through and through. And then he goes, PayPal executive Keith stood outside the home of the university staff and shouted that F word. Hope you die of AIDS, an action intended to provoke discussion of free speech. Now, I talked about the ignorance of that, but you know what? That F word is also, it's about really degrading women. And so for Peter, it wouldn't matter anyway, because, I mean, these people, it's about degrading women, because they're saying that the masculine man is too much like a woman, right? So they're saying if you're anywhere near being a horrible woman, you're this F word. So it's degrading women, technically. And it's funny that anybody would come after me from it. It's like, dude, that shit was the dumbest thing to ever come out of my mouth anyway, because I'm just degrading myself. Like, what I'm saying is, it's terrible that you're even anywhere near being me. It's like, what the fuck? It's the dumbest shit ever. But I'm telling you, a lot of people say a lot of ignorant stuff that they don't even really understand. But these guys know exactly what they're doing. Okay, this is a different thing. But I find this hilarious that these people are going on this way and the dude's totally gay. He's a self-loather. Okay, in the book, the widespread anger at rabbis is compared to the Salem witch trial. And of course, that was targeting women, and they turned it to them. The man is the fucking victim. He's the victim. It's that thing, right? So George Orwell's 1984 and the Spanish Inquisition. Thal told the New Yorker, that he now has a much more nuanced understanding of identity politics. No, they kept going on about that identity politics, including the belief that women, gays, and black people have meaningfully different experiences. Yes and no, actually. They're gonna have we're all gonna have the rape, right? And human trafficking. So the gays got human trafficked from you guys. Women got human trafficked from you guys, right? And people of color got human trafficked from you guys. But you also notice something weird that they left out. They left out like the Jews. They left out like Asians. They left out Hispanics. They left out the American Indians. We all have different things going on, right? But we all come together right here, where we're all victims of the white man. We're all victims of the white man. We're victims of male supremacy, because the gays are being hated on because of male supremacy, right? But a lot of gay men hold this ideology and become abusers, as you see Thal right here. the Elton Johns, right? Those people. Even Rob Halford with his bullshit of trying to go after somebody to get him drunk and rape him. Kevin, Kevin Spacey as well, right? So that there's different things going on, because you'll see women, even though they're victims, you'll see a portion of them actually be on the abuser side, right? And uphold Dahl's mindset here, right? And then they become the abusers and abuse other people, right? They'll go and rape other kids. They'll go and rape other boys. But it was promoted by these guys, okay? That's what I was trying to explain from that whole thing. It was not easy. I was trying to... It's a long conversation, because it's like you're talking about when you're hitting up on this powerful fucking gay monster that's going on from this company. It's layered in a way where it's like, okay, yeah, I totally understand it. We all had this thing happen. And then I know why nobody listened to you now. Like, there's a whole thing about it, right? But even if they went to try to go report it, they were not going to be able to report it anyway, because there's a big block, right, in the whole system of things. And then, but we're hitting on the same thing. And I had already gone around in circles going at government and these other entities to try to go at them, right? For a long time, you guys. And then they just started targeting me, and it was totally obvious it was them at that point. Like, I'm not going to get a clue that it's not government doing it. I'm like talking to government, and then government's asking me these dumb questions, and then they go leave me in a fire and then throw me in the street. So you don't think I'm going to not understand that that's government is involved in raping kids? Yeah. So they're protecting it. And then, it's a bigger thing, because it's kind of, the bigger thing is that they're just all friends, right? And then they're controlling everything, and you're hitting at their orbit. And because you're hitting at their orbit, that whole orbit, it can eventually come down. Like, it could just break apart. And they're freaking the fuck out. As they should. They're trying to make you feel bad about it, but don't. If they're like, they hate men. It's like, yeah, we hate fucking predator men like you. Yeah. You're the one that started it. You're the rapist. You literally wrote a whole book about how much you're a pro-rapist. And you're fine with raping kids. So... when I read stuff like that, I'm just letting you guys know. At the end of this, it says, Thiel did not address his writing on sexual assault in the New Yorker. However, he did not respond to the query from the Guardian, right? So, because he's a rapist. What's he going to change his mindset about it? So, he's always a rapist. Once you're a rapist, you're always a rapist. So, that's the thing about it. So, now what happens here is that they're freaked out, right? And for them to sit there and go, they can't, it's a conflict, right? So if you did that before, let's say you rape somebody, and you see that it's like turning into, oh my God, it's saying I'm a rapist. You're a fucking goddamn rapist. Anyway, he was popping pills on somebody or something there, because to defend that, is telling us that you do that. So when I go through comments of these perpetrators in cold cases or things like this, I'm looking for that, because they're telling me who they are, right? It's such that quote is like king, because they're telling me who they are. He's like, I'm a rapist. I'm a rapist. So I was like, oh, I know who the perpetrator is, because they're telling me they're a rapist. And I'm looking at this thing, so I'm reading it for what it is. Not because he just has a generally bad opinion on something. That's what I'm reading. And people of color is probably the same thing when when I was talking a long time ago. It's just ignorance, right? So my ignorance, and they're like, you're fucking Donald Trump's kid. They were like really mad. There was a lot of things. Rightly so. There were some things on there, but some things no. Like when I was pointing out, like somebody was a flat out liar. I was like, I don't deserve death threats. Okay, guys. But, yeah, so they're reading off of, like, they know the hateful speech, and so they're reading off that. So here, we're reading off the hateful speech towards our gender, right? So he's presenting himself as a victim, and he's actually the perpetrator, and he's the biggest fucking rapist out here, and he's not sorry about it, and he's not going to be sorry about it, and he's quite the bully. That's what I could say about that. Now, the only reason why he would come out and say he's sorry about anything is just because that he wants, it works for him in the political chess that he's playing around with. But no, these are his core beliefs, and that's a belief system from his childhood because his dad raped him or somebody raped him or some bullshit, and then it's hardwired, and he has ASPD. I was like, he does. And so it's he'll pathologically lie and go around these things. And like I said, all these guys have been guilty of raping somebody and doing this conduct. So why would he then? He's gonna get outed eventually. But somebody committed suicide, so there was no way to. I didn't know it. It looked a little peculiar though. Just it seemed like another one of those kept guys, right? Like as we're hearing in the other story, and I was like, I don't know, man. But I was saying I would be depressed too if that was my boyfriend. Wouldn't you? He's totally fine with getting you drugged and drunk and raping you. This is a person that I don't know a single person. I'm going to say this. I don't know a single person that believes this way that did not rape somebody. I know that for a fact because I check up on everybody that made these comments, and that's how I found all these people and outed that. Well, I didn't purposely out them. They were already outed. And then I went to look into their stuff because this is the clue, right? I'm a rapist. So I'm like, oh, okay, then they have allegations. Any person that you run across that talks like this, they're telling you who they are. They are. I can say it a million times over. And so the circle here with that documentary, this is their friends. Uh-huh. Because they were all together. So Trump's pals with them, Trump and Epstein with the Mike, the company there, and stuff. Okay, they're all business pals, so they swing together, right? Now they may not be the best of buddies, but it's just a circle of men that they all have the same belief system, right? And they're all mostly white. Um, and then some black men may pop up in it too, but for the most part, it's white men. hmm Yeah. So if you don't want to take the blame, oh well, the blame is on you.